All right. So, welcome to our Grow members who are able to see us here live this Thursday morning, or if you're watching the replay. We've got some terrific members to spotlight today. I'm very excited to have them here with us. We have NJ and Kerri, and Diana is coming on, so we'll hear more about them and their businesses. And then I'll share a little bit about some upcoming events. We've got some really great things coming up in Grow over the next couple of months. And then we'll spin the wheel for our next member spotlights. So Diana, welcome. Glad you could make
Morning.
it. Good, good. So I was just sharing, we'll be on here usually about 20, maybe up to 30 minutes, just to
Okay.
talk, give each of you a chance to talk about your business and share about what you do. And like I just mentioned, then we'll share a little bit about what's happening and Grow. So why don't we start out? NJ, you were actually selected a couple of weeks ago, and due to some scheduling issues on both of our sides, we couldn't quite make it work, but good to have you here today. So I just want to, I'm just going to leave it open for you to please go ahead and share about the work that you do with providing supplemental employee benefits.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. So, Colonial is a voluntary benefits company, and we help attract and retain employees. What we do is we offer voluntary benefits to employees, such as short-term disability. They receive up to 60% of their pay. They can go lower, but 60% of their pay is the highest, and they would get that through a monthly check or direct deposit for 3 months, 6 months, whatever they choose. And so if they're sick or if they are not able not to attend at work, and their doctor says you're out, maybe you are having a baby and you need to be out for 8 weeks, then you would go on that disability with Colonial and you'd get paid 60% of your pay. 5% of that come the 65%, 5% of that comes from New York State disability. So you're getting a total of 65%. Another one we do is accident. I absolutely love accident because everybody needs it. It's very, very affordable, and it can go for you. It can go for you and your partner. It can go for you and your partner and your children. And that's really great because if for some reason there's an accident, which there's going to be, it goes all the way up to 80 years old. So if for some reason you have an accident, you get $125 just for going to the urgent care or emergency room. If you get stitches, you get money. If you have a X-ray, you get, I think, $35. If you lacerations, if you break a bone, if any of these things happen, if they're surgical, non-surgical, you get money. And even PT. So if you're in an accident and you need physical therapy, they pay $35 up to 10 times of going to physical therapy. So that's $350 that they're giving you just to go to physical therapy. And all these things have nothing to do with your health insurance. So this is just money going into your pocket. It also has a preferred health benefit where if you get certain tests every year from your doctor, which is normal when you go to the doctor, in that year, you can just file a claim online because there is an employee portal, and you can get $50 every year for doing that. So don't forget to do that because Colonial will make money if you forget to do that. Another one of our benefits is cancer. I think it's very, very important in our area of Western New York to have the cancer benefit. We wouldn't have Roswell here if we didn't have a lot of cancer in this area. So cancer pays a $5,000 initial diagnosis benefit. I always tell people to go and have a fun vacation with their family because they're going to have the fight of their life ahead of them. And they're going to win, but it's going to be a struggle. So go enjoy your time with your family, come back, start getting your chemo or radiation or whatever you need. One of the great things about Colonial is they pay $300 per radiation, per chemo, unlimited. So every single time you have chemo or radiation, you get $300. There's all kinds of benefits with the cancer, even $10,000. There's a limit, but $10,000 for experimental treatments. So you get money for, it seems like everything for cancer, even surgical, everything. So I'm really passionate about cancer. And if I ever get to talk to you as a business or even as a person and you want no more information about that cancer, I do have a story that goes along with that happened last year. It breaks my heart that it happened, but I'm really glad they had the insurance. We also do dental and vision for companies that want to do dental and vision, either if they can't do it themselves or their dental and vision is more expensive than what we have to offer, that they might go through an insurance company. I spoke to a person yesterday where they wanted a quote for the dental and vision because they want to see if it's cheaper than what they pay with their insurance. And they could drop that part of their insurance since their employees are already paying for it, and they can get a cheaper, more affordable cost. So we also do different things with specified disease like stroke or heart attacks or renal failure. So you could purchase a policy for that if that's in your family. Going back to the cancer, if for some reason you have cancer in your family, you really need to have cancer because it is a lot of times hereditary. So you really need to have that cancer policy as well. We also do term and whole life. It all depends on what the company picks that they want for their employees. But I want to give a shout out to Stephen Luter. He last week did his company did enrollments for Colonial, and almost all of his employees chose to get benefits. They're around a lot of asbestos. They're around a lot of different things that could happen to them down the road, even short-term disability. His group is amazing, his company is amazing, and he's amazing. So just a shout out to him because I really appreciate his business, and I really appreciate how much he trusts me and allows me to help him and his company. So we at least I can tell you that there is someone in Grow already that is using Colonial, and I appreciate him. So but yeah, and his people took some life insurance too because of the things that they're around. So if a company chooses to offer life insurance, I can do that as well. So that's pretty much what I do. The one thing I didn't mention, and a lot of people are wondering, okay, I like these benefits, but it's no cost to the employer. So all of these benefits do cost the employee money, but it's very affordable. For instance, if you're getting weekly paychecks, the accident is only $4.88 per week. So $4.88 per week, you're not even going to notice it in your check and you're completely covered. So that's like and with the $50 that we pay back, it's like a fourth of what you paid. So of per year. So yeah, it's very affordable, no cost to the employer, helps retain and attract employees because that's what employers are looking for right now. They're looking for benefits where people want to work for them and then they don't want to leave because they have all these benefits. One thing left about Colonial is that it's portable. So if you leave that company, you can take all those benefits with you. You would just pay Colonial instead of doing a deduction in your payroll, and you would pay either monthly, you can pay quarterly, semi-annually, or annually, and you can keep all those benefits. So like that accident goes up to 80 years old, you're going to have an accident before you're 80. So make sure you keep those benefits. So that's what Colonial does.
NJ, thank you so much for sharing that. That was really comprehensive, and that really helped people understand more of the opportunities that are there. And I know that you've talked with, and I know Steve, he was actually one of our member spotlights a week or so ago with Ace Handyman Services. It is a terrific business, and I know you've been able to help him and are talking with a lot of other Grow members. We're all very grateful that you provide that kind of supplemental support. And as you mentioned, with it being no cost to the employer, it's really an attractive thing, especially for employers who are struggling with bringing in new employees, which a lot of them are. So to be able to offer those additional benefits are wonderful. I'm going to share your,
Can
oh,
I
yes,
ask a
Diane.
couple of questions, actually? Is that allowed in this
Sure,
format?
absolutely.
So, NJ, I was just wondering, because I represent a lot of businesses and I also represent a lot of individual people. who have different sorts of needs. Do you offer these strictly through employers? Like, does the employer have to be the one to sign up, or can an individual come to you, or even a solo practitioner, small business owner who has no other employees? Are they eligible to just sign on with Colonial Life?
Unfortunately not. I have to work with businesses. They have to have at least 3 employees.
Okay.
Only one person needs to sign up to make it, to make it so that I can, have a case. And they have to work at least 20 hours, 20 hours per week, and they have to work year round. So that is what we go from Colonial. But yes, it's only employers because it's a payroll deduction. But if they
Okay.
leave, they pay for it. So,
Okay. Thank you.
yep.
Great question. Yeah, and if anybody else who is watching the live or even the replay has any other questions, please feel free to post them in here. Or, like I said, I will be providing NJ's contact information after we do this, and feel free to reach out to her directly. So thank you, NJ, for being
Thank
here.
you, Connie. Really
Sure.
appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. So let's switch over to Kerri of Victory Sports. Kerri Lehmbeck, would you please share a bit about the work that you all do? I know some of our members are probably familiar because we did an event with your group. Boy, it's been a few months ago now, but we're such big fans of Victory Sports here in Gross. I'm so glad you have a chance to talk about your work.
Thanks, Connie. Yeah, so I think you guys did it right before I came on. I started at Victory Sports in October, so I just missed meeting many of the members, but again, thank you so much for highlighting us here today. So we're a nonprofit organization. We actually help under-resourced schools, community organizations, teams by providing them sporting equipment and gear so that the kids can get active and play a sport that they love. I think, we all live in Western New York, or the majority of us live in Western New York, and we know the statistics. We have 43% of children that live in poverty, and so again, they don't have access to the equipment to go out and just have fun and be kids and find something. And studies show that kids who are active, not only through sports participation, but just, playing at the playground, again, stay in school longer, get better grades, they go on to achieve success in life. So, I sometimes feel like people think sports and they think competition. Really what we're trying to do is to make sure kids have access to the equipment so that they can just have fun, be active, and if they love a sport, they can play it. We have a great story where there was a single mother who recently came into our outlet location, which we are in the Eastern Hills Mall. So anybody here, back in about a year ago now, I think it has been, we moved into one of the storefronts in the Eastern Hills Mall where people can come and donate new or gently used equipment. And the community is actually welcome to come in there also to look for their own needs. I have children who grow up pretty quickly, and it's great to see kind of what sneakers are in there. I bought my kids, I upgraded them from a junior golf club set up to a adult size, set, which is practically brand new, but knowing that the purchase and the donation that I made for those purchases is going to help kids in our community. So it's really a win-win. So if you have children or you have neighbors who kids play sports or active, don't forget we're in the Eastern Hills Mall. But what I will say is we had this single mother who came into the store, and she had, I think it was 4 kids, and 3 of them were interested in playing ice hockey. I think anybody here who knows anything about hockey, ice hockey in particular, it's an extremely expensive sport. Now, she didn't have the finances to buy the equipment, but she wanted her kids to be able to enjoy it. They really wanted to play. So our executive director, Doug Reifenberg, he worked with them to actually fully equip the children. So all 3 children got their skates, their hockey sticks, the padding, the helmet, you name it, anything that they needed, and they walked out for free. I mean, talk about a touching moment. Again, this woman knew her kids wanted to play. She didn't know the resources, turned to us, and we were able to help them. So really here today, we service all 8 counties in Western New York. So, we're all over the area. We're always looking for partners. We work with collection drives. As you mentioned before, we have volunteers who come in and assist us with things. We're rolling out some exciting programs. We've got an adopted program where individuals and even companies and businesses can adopt a team, and it could be right in your neighborhood, in your backyard, where you do a collection drive and then through some financial support, help to offset some of the wish list items that we're starting to get in. So I've got about a dozen different schools and organizations and teams right now that are looking for what we call their wish list items to be fulfilled. And so we're going to be rolling that out really soon. So I'd love to anybody interested in more information to reach out to me. Super excited that next week on Saturday, we're partnering with Miss New York, Sydney Park. She was recently the 3rd runner-up in the Miss America competition, and her platform is empowering young girls through sports, which is amazing. And through this event, we're going to be launching our partnership with the Sports Bra Project. Again, a lot of young girls don't have this necessary piece of equipment so that they can be active. And so we want to empower these girls to get off the sidelines into the game, empower them to go out and do what they want to do. So we're super excited about the launch with this. Western New York Girls in Sports, which is currently under the United Way, is joining us for this effort, purchasing $1,000 worth of sports bras that we can get this up and running. So again, we've got a lot of great things coming down the pipeline here. Love to partner with local individuals and businesses just to really help make an impact in our community and the children in our community.
Kerri, this is fabulous. Your group has grown tremendously, I think, since you first started and grow, it sounds like.
Yeah, so actually it's just still Doug and I. So Edmund moved back to, so many of you probably knew Edmund. He moved back to England. Great guy, did some wonderful things for us. And we're just kind of building on that, building on what they started. Doug established this out of his garage in 2017. And so the fact that he's gone from a garage to a storage unit to now a space in the Eastern Hills Mall, which is like 4,600 square feet, we are growing, and it's really exciting. And I think what is most impactful is Doug recently shared that in the 4.5 years that he started this nonprofit organization, he's given away close to 50,000 pieces of equipment.
Wow.
And if you just do an average of $20, it's almost $1 million worth of equipment we've put back into our community. I will say our official name is Victory Sports Global Outreach. 90% of the work we do is right here in Western New York, and about 10% we do a few things globally. Some individuals go on mission trips and have taken equipment to Uganda for soccer programs, basketball programs, but 90% of that is here in our own community. So it's really exciting.
Oh, I love that. Well, and especially I think for our group too, that adopt a team for businesses, I'll be sure to highlight that as well, because I imagine there are a lot of people here in the group that would like to participate in that. And I mean, you're just providing such good for so many children. And for people in the community. Are you still doing the bins that you were putting in different locations for people to donate?
Yeah, so we have bins in various locations. I don't know off the top of my head because they kind of move around. Like we just did an event at the cereal spot on Hurdle where people could collect items. So that's another way we partner with different businesses and companies locally, is by putting our bins in their locations for a set period of time. So it's always kind of fluctuating and moving. But again, if somebody has an interest in helping us in that opportunity, definitely reach out to me. We're always happy to partner with anyone. Like I said, this is just a couple things we're excited about that's rolling out, but certainly we've got some other things in the works right now too that can't talk about quite yet, but are very exciting as well.
Well, so good to have you on to speaking
Thank
about
you.
all of this. And as I mentioned with NJ as well, I will post your contact information and address so people can follow up that way.
Great. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh gosh, my pleasure. And Diana, hi, so nice to have you here with us too. I just love this group today. This wonderful group of women. So would you share please about your legal practice and how you support businesses?
Sure. So I have two components to my practice. One is that I'm a business lawyer, and I focus my practice really on helping my clients protect their assets while they grow their business. I always say that a smart business owner knows when to outsource. And I have seen so many things just through the pandemic and the shutdown. It's awesome that there are so many new businesses coming online and people are switching their careers or finding new ways to seek their passion after being shut down for so long. But I'm also seeing so many people doing things themselves or going online and finding documents online that are really legal documents, and then they try to convert them to be their own documents. I met with a woman yesterday who was using a contract for clients from Australia. She does not live in Australia or work in Australia, but that's what she found online. I'm really trying to change the dialogue between when people need business attorneys and when they don't need business attorneys. And frankly, if you're a business owner, you should have a business attorney. I spent the beginning of my career, probably the first 20 years of my career in litigation, which is strictly commercial to commercial, businesses suing businesses. And in working in those areas, I really saw all the things people should have done or should have avoided that would have, not led to litigation and not led to a lawsuit, which is costly and stressful and most of the times very unnecessary. If only people knew what they were signing or knew that they could have negotiated something in their lease that they didn't want in there, and now it's biting them in the butt, several years down the road. So when I had the opportunity to go out on my own, I decided I want to switch from litigation to kind of the front end and helping people avoid the pitfalls and avoid the problems that lead to litigation down the road. So I do everything from setting up LLCs, working with startup companies. I do vendor contracts. I do lease negotiations. Leases are always negotiable, by the way, even if you're working in a large group. I represent some of the big real estate management companies, and there's always things in a lease that is negotiable. So if someone just presents you with something, don't just sign it. Look at it, understand the terms, make sure you know what you're getting into. I can't tell you how many times I hear people say, I didn't need an attorney, I just signed a lease. Then they go on to tell me how they're in a 10-year lease and their business isn't doing well and they signed a personal guarantee. And I'm just thinking, oh no, you could have negotiated that. A 10-year lease is crazy for a startup business. And now you're stuck with this, and it's stressful. And really, a lot of people don't take action. They don't hire an attorney because they procrastinate, and procrastination is really born out of fear. It's the fear of the unknown. But if you have a successful team around you, there's nothing to be afraid of. Hire things out, refer things to people who know what they're doing. If you're stuck with a lease or you get a finance agreement or you don't know if you need a waiver or you don't need a waiver, we do know. There's a lot of attorneys in this group. I know there's several who are business attorneys. We know what we're doing and we love to do it. It's our passion. Let us handle that part of it for you. Give us your red tape so you can sleep at night and you can focus on your business. There's no need to stress about these things when there are very affordable solutions. And frankly, paying an attorney to help you with a problem now is going to save you a lot of money down the road. So I'm just trying to change that dialogue, that don't wait until you're in trouble to get an attorney. Every business owner should have an attorney. Every business owner should have someone they're comfortable with, that they can talk to and just say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Do I need to change my agreement? Or do you think my insurance is right for this? And I look at insurance policies and I say, talk to your broker. You need this, this, and this. You're not actually covered for what you're doing. That's a big thing I do too, is I review the insurance policies, because sometimes people get coverage and they think, oh, this is what I want. And it's premise liability coverage when nobody's coming to their house and they don't have a brick and mortar business and they don't need premises liability. They need general business liability coverage, but they don't know that. And if you don't know what to ask, you don't know what you're getting. And you're most often not going to be getting the things that you need. So there's no need to do these things yourself. You can hire a professional. And I'm just trying to help people realize that and help them, fulfill their dreams of having a successful business. So that's my business aspect of it. I also do something that's called Quadro. It's a qualified domestic relations order. And these are orders if you have gone through a divorce, or someone who's going through a divorce and they have retirement assets that they're splitting up in the course of the divorce, and while they're doing their separation agreement, or sometimes they're at trial and they're doing it in the courtroom, when they're dividing up their marital assets, retirement assets, 401ks, pensions, 403bs, saving plans, things like that, those are marital assets. So in the course of settling all the property through the divorce, you're going to have assets that you're going to be dividing up that are retirement assets. And those actually you can't just divide up in the judgment of divorce. You can't just say, okay, you get half of the retirement asset, and then you don't walk away with a piece of paper that says you have the retirement asset. Retirement assets are governed under ERISA and certain provisions of the tax code. So you actually need a separate order called a qualified domestic relations order that takes place after the judgment of divorce is final. And it's an order from the court to the retirement plan. And it tells the retirement plan, these people are divorced. This is what they've agreed on. Retirement plan, you must divide up the assets this way. But of course, the court can't tell the plan what to do, because the plan controls what is allowed to be done to the retirement assets. So you kind of have to go back and forth. It's a bit of a backwards process. You go to the retirement plan first. You say, can these be divided up? How do you want us to do it? Then we draft the order. The court signs it. The plan certifies it. And then we can split the retirement assets. But a lot of people don't know that that's a separate order. And they think, oh, well, I got the pension, I got this, I got that. You don't have anything unless you have a qualified domestic relations order after the judgment of divorce is final. So I don't do matrimonials, but I work with the attorneys to do the qualified domestic relations order, or people just come to me directly after a divorce and they need the quadros done. So that's something else that I do too.
My goodness, you must keep busy.
It's it's all kind of, I do a lot of work with like just problem solving and fitting the jigsaw pieces where they need to go, but that's my passion. People think there's nothing really very exciting about law. I love it. I love to help people solve problems. I love to be creative and help them find ways. I love to have people just, they're so stressed when they come in, and you don't need to be. Let me take the stress off your hands and let me help you however I can. And that's really satisfaction to me. When my clients succeed, I feel like I succeed.
Absolutely. Such vital services that you provide. And I'm so glad that you said early on that every business should have a business attorney. I hear so many horror stories in my work with small businesses with people who have gone through, was it Rocket Lawyer or something like that, where it's, yeah. And then inevitably they end up going to an attorney anyway to fix things, which ends up costing double or more. So it
Well,
is critical, so many areas.
I think the problem with those online services, and some of them are good, and actually sometimes if I need language for something that I just don't know quite how I want to word it, I will look at Rocket Lawyer forums, or I never go to LegalZoom, but I'll look at some of the Rocket Lawyer forums just to see how are other jurisdictions doing this, but they're not New York specific. A lot of times the language is unnecessary and too much, or it's just not exact. But when you're using forms like that, and I have a lot of people that say, well, I just did it through LegalZoom, isn't that good? Those aren't attorneys. You're working with a company that only spits back what you tell it you need. And if you don't know what you need, then they can't help you. Like if people start their own LLCs, they'll just go to LegalZoom and do that. They don't know they need publication. They think that's like a marketing thing that happens. Publication is actually a legal requirement in New York State that you have to publish the intent to form the LLC. And people don't realize that, and it's not stressed. And if you don't stress that, LegalZoom won't tell you that you need that. They're no attorneys. And if you do need an attorney, they have legal plans. But if you look it up, there's not a single LegalZoom attorney in the area, or I think not even in New York State. So you're not getting local people. You're not getting people that understand your business or your community. And I think knowing the community is really important too. We're a special breed here in Buffalo. We are fighters, we are survivors, we have things we love, things we're passionate about. We're different than other parts of the country. And you can't just have a lawyer from New Jersey who's able to really know that and be as passionate about your business as your attorney should be. So I some of those places online have a use. But when you're going to Rocket Lawyer, you're going to LegalZoom, you're going to FindLaw, you're going to those other companies, you're not working with an attorney, you're working with a computer algorithm and a customer service representative. So that is always troublesome to me when I hear that.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that's a lot of information that people are not aware of, and perfect for our audience here of small businesses. So Diana, I will be sure to post your contact information in this post as well once the recording goes up, so that people can reach out to you with any questions as well. So
great, thank you. And I know I did post recently in the Facebook group, but if you are an LLC, a PLLC, an LLP, or a partnership, make sure by March 15th you file your IT 204 LL with New York State Taxation Department. If you don't know what that is, feel free to email me or talk to your accountant, but those have to be filed March 15th if you earned any income or you took a deduction or a loss in 2021 and your fiscal year ends December 31st. Those have to be filed with New York State Department of Taxation.
Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that and for posting that in the group. I did see that. Appreciate that very much.
You're welcome.
All right. So we are going to wrap things up really quickly. I just want to let the group know about some of the great events that we've got coming up next Monday. Monday are coffee kickoffs. Those networking events are just a fantastic way to get involved with our group. I always encourage people when they're new to the Facebook group, jump in there. It's a terrific community of people, great way to get to know some of the other businesses that are here in our group, and then schedule one-to-ones later to help support each other even more. So we have next Monday, Nakia Cook is our inspiring speaker. We always have somebody there at the beginning to give us some good motivation on a Monday, and Miss Cook is amazing with her accounting skills, so I'm sure we'll learn a lot from her on Monday. And then we seem to be focusing on finance for a while because we have a workshop on March 10th called Boost Your Confidence When Asking for Money. So that should be a great workshop. And then we're starting to go back to our in-person Mondays as well. Once a month, we'll have an in-person event later in the day on Mondays. So on March 14th, we have Catherine Dolan of Damon College. She works in their entrepreneurial studies program. I'm sure we'll learn a lot from her as well. Our book club, we just finished up the March one. In April, we're reading 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals. Who doesn't need that kind of help? And then I saw that Mike had also announced that our quarterly workshops are going to begin. This is something new for us. Dale Carnegie is working with us to provide half-day workshops on leadership, business development. I know these will be a really huge help for our people here in Grow as well. So excited about all of those. And now I want to spin our wheel to announce our members to be on our spotlight next week.
I just want to thank you for this opportunity. And I absolutely love being on with these two wonderful women because I can tell each one of them have such a passion for what they do. And I can relate because I have such a passion for what I do too. I love doing it. I do it for free. So I just thank these women being on and sharing their passion because I think we can all relate with loving what we do.
Thank you, NJ.
That's very important. Thank you.
Really appreciate you sharing that. You've just done a great wrap up for me. So we'll spin the wheel and we'll say goodbye. So here we go. We'll pick our next three. All right, Dan Schlein. I think of Dan as such a connector here in the community. Almost everybody knows Dan. He's an amazing financial advisor with Alliance. So look forward to having him on next week. Second person. David Stower. I'll be reaching out to him. Be interesting to hear about the work that he's doing. And Thonda Wynn. I'm really excited about this. Thonda is the owner of Limehouse Restaurant. Fabulous Burmese Thai food. It's just amazing. And they're opening up a second location in Hamburg. So it'll be fun to hear about that as well. So let me stop the share here. And thank you all again for joining me. It was so good having you here and learning about your work. And I'm excited to get your contact information out there and for people to be able to reach out and help support you as well.
Thanks, Connie. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Take care, all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.